Welcome back everyone to Game 6 of India versus Africa, with India having a 3-2 lead against Africa. And because this is a best of 7, it means if India wins this game, they move on to the next round. So this is a big game. And on Team India's side, we have J0RIS, and on Team Africa's side, we have blessyz. And J0RIS is using a team built around Urshifu-Rapid and future sight Sloking Galar. And similarly, blessyz is using a team built around Urshifu-Rapid, but also he's using a regular Sloking. But otherwise, both are using a very similar structure. There's a fast electric type, there's a J0RIS, there's a steel type, very similar in structure with very similar attacking ideas. The main idea being using future sight to help Urshifu break through. And if we notice blessyz's team, it's relatively weak to Urshifu, because if Sloking gets to low enough health, Urshifu can actually break through. And on the other side of things, blessyz's Urshifu has to worry about Ferrothorn and J0RIS because of Ferrothorn's ability Iron Barbs. But if this Urshifu can predict correctly, J0RIS can be in a lot of trouble. So that's the conflicting ideas of how to win the game for both players. And we see the lead matchup, and J0RIS wins the lead matchup, and he's able to actually get a free knockoff on Heatran, which is relatively big. And J0RIS plays it safe, he goes Sloking. And when he goes Sloking on Heatran, it implies that he must be Assault Vest, because there's nothing... Because if it's not Assault Vest, it doesn't really take Magma Storm too well. And on the other side, because Heatran has Stealth Rock, that means J0RIS must be either a defog set, or it must be some sort of Swords Dance, or maybe even Choice Scarf. So that's something to keep in mind as the game goes on, that the J0RIS set can be anything right now, we don't know. And blessyz is taking advantage of the momentum he has right now, and he U-turns. And Urshifu would have been a good switch right here to punish the J0RIS, but if you notice, the Sloking actually used Future Sight earlier in the game, so he wouldn't want to risk his Urshifu to Future Sight, so he goes Sloking instead. And J0RIS uses U-turns on the Sloking, getting the chip damage, and we see a Future Sight. And this damage is important because that Sloking took the chip damage, and now it's in range of being 2-hit KO'd by Urshifu. And blessyz makes a really nice play here, and he double switches J0RIS, predicting the Sloking Galar. And now J0RIS is in a very uncomfortable position. If he goes J0RIS on the Earthquake, but instead blessyz U-turns, then Urshifu comes in on the J0RIS and it can fire off an attack. So it's a very uncomfortable position to be in, because it's very tough to deal with that Urshifu-Rapid. So instead he goes Ferrothorn, with the plan being to Leech Seed his health back. And it's an okay approach, but it has another issue, that Ferrothorn is becoming even weaker, which means it might struggle against J0RIS or J0RA, so he has to be careful about Ferrothorn getting too weakened. But he makes a nice play, he Leech Seeds again on the Heatran, and so far he's able to keep him away. He's able to keep the Ferrothorn healthy, but long term it's going to be very difficult to keep the Ferrothorn healthy. And as he goes Sloking, blessyz makes another good predict, and he goes J0RIS on the Sloking. So blessyz is really putting the pressure on J0RIS right now. It's putting a lot of pressure with the Lando. And J0RIS goes Ferrothorn, and he predicted J0RIS coming in, so he Toxic'd, but J0RIS makes the correct play, and then he goes Ferrothorn instead. And he gets a chance to use a free Leech Seed right now, which he does, and gains his health back. And blessyz is just going to keep Earthquaking, trying to bring the Ferrothorn down to open up a path for Urshifu later in the game. And he is pretty willing actually to just trade for spikes before switching out to Mandibuzz. And another dynamic to note is that because Landorus has taken so much damage, it's opened up a path for Tapu Koko to be threatening. So that's another aspect that has come in. Before he was only worrying about Urshifu, but now he's also worried about Tapu Koko as well. And this is a bulky Skizzer, so it's not going to take much from Mandibuzz, and he makes a correct play to U-turn at the right time. And that brings in his own Landorus here. And he could have gone Urshifu here, but I'm guessing he didn't want to take the spikes damage. So what he did was he first defogged the spikes, and now later in the game he's going to use Urshifu as the wall breaker. And J0RIS makes a bad play here. So everything dies to the water type move because Slowking is too low at health. So he had no reason not to Surging Strikes, but he tries to U-turn, I think, predicting a switch. I'm not sure, but that was a bad play, and it gives up the momentum to blessyz back again. And now Urshifu can get a free kill, basically. And Ferrothorn switches in, but it's too low health. So, and it can be argued that this is a good trade for J0RIS, but he lost the Ferrothorn, and now blessyz he's broken through the Pharaoh, and at the cost of half his health, Pharaoh is dead. And J0RIS goes to his own Urshifu and close combats because there's no switch in anymore to close combat. So it was a good play on J0RIS's part. And J0RIS makes a nice play. He doesn't go Landorus on the Zera. Instead, he goes Tapu Koko because he's scared of knockoff on Lando. So he gets momentum back, and nothing can switch in to the Urshifu. So he decides that, okay, I'll just sack Skizor. But even then, long term he's going to lose to the combination of Urshifu because nothing can really take a hit from it. And he goes Zera to revenge kill, but J0RIS plays it safe. He goes Landorus here. And again, he's in a tough spot. There's no Earthquake switching anymore. So Landorus gets a free Earthquake off. The critical hit didn't matter too much because he can just EQ again next turn. And here, he just sacrifices Slowking because he doesn't need it anymore. He sacrifices Slowking, and now he goes to his own Slowking. He goes to his own Urshifu after this because right now, there is no close combat switch in. So that's another kill for Urshifu. And yeah, the game is basically over at this point. He goes Urshifu here, but J0RIS simply sacrifices the Tapu Koko. And now he goes back to his own Urshifu and gets a kill, and the game is over now. Because there's no combination of moves where blessyz can actually break through. So that's that. India wins the match 4-2, and they move on to the next round where they're going to be playing against China in round 2. So that'll be a very interesting matchup, and if you want to stay updated on that matchup and when the games happen, make sure to join the Discord server and subscribe to the channel so that you can always be up to date on the latest happenings and events. Thank you.